Hey, this is Jack, and this video is should you date a guy who makes less money than you? Hey, welcome to my channel. If you're new here or you haven't yet subscribed, I'd love to have you with us. This channel is all about self-development, authenticity, real personal growth, and dating. And if any of those themes are of interest to you, this is a great community to be part of. Also, if you're a woman that dates men, I want to invite you to click on the first link beneath this video. It is my guy checklist, 9 steps you can run any guy through to get the sense of, is he actually investing in the connection with you? All right, so let's get into this question. Should you date a guy who makes less money than you? Well, right off the bat, how about we say, let's do what's authentic for you, right? You do you. If for you, it's some kind of deal breaker that a guy makes less money than you and that just feels important to you, I think you already have your answer, right? Similarly, there'll be some of you watching who it's authentic for you to say, I could care less how much money a guy makes. I'm much more interested in some other things, right? And probably high of that list from what I hear is character, right? I'm much more interested in character. I'm much more interested in kindness, how he talks to people, particularly like waiters and people that we meet in the course of dating. That's much more of interest to me. So look, you might already know what some of your values are. I'm just gonna throw a few things in here in case it contextualizes, laddie, how you think about this question. Oh my gosh, and in case it helps me learn how to speak. All right, here we are. So one of the reasons that this has been getting a little bit more coverage is that there is some data, and I'll just caveat this, I'm not in the original data sets or studies or peer-reviewed literature, but apparently there's some data that suggests that when a woman earns more than a guy, it is one factor that seems to predict, not cataclysmically, but statistically significantly, her wanting to leave the relationship, right? So separation, divorce, breakup. Now, I imagine, and we're going to go into some Jack theory here, so this is not backed up by the data. I imagine that could be a proxy for something else, right? Sort of meaning that there's an underlying truth or set of truths this could be pointing to. So for instance, it could be that women are more likely to leave men that they end up not respecting. So if you lose respect for a man, it's probably a predictor of you wanting to break up with him. Women may be more likely to break up with men that they don't feel polarity with, right? So if you want to feel you're feminine in the company of a guy, and let's say just for instance that you are super humming in your career and that how you get successful in your career is mostly through cultivating your masculine, which is totally appropriate and allowed, it might be that you are in a relationship that doesn't have much polarity or that has become depolarized, right? So that might be more of a predictor than the actual, who's put more money on their adjusted gross income. Now, it's also true to say that there are many types of career success beyond just income, right? So, you could be Prime Minister of the United Kingdom and you're going to make less money than someone who's doing super well in banking, but I'm not sure that many women are going to leave someone because they only became UK Prime Minister, right? Or you might be a senior member of the clergy and you've taken your vow of poverty, but you actually have a lot of social clout and status because you are a high member of the clergy, right? So this normally isn't just an income alone thing. This might be more of a how much respect does the woman have for the guy's career and purpose and mission in the world. And it might be that the guy makes very little because he's given up a high-paying job to go pursue his mission of helping underprivileged children learn how to read. But that's actually a super turn-on to his woman because he's doing what he thinks he's here to do, and he's purposeful and he's mission-driven about it. So I don't think it's just about income. I think typically women are attracted to men who have a sense of purpose in their life and who are bringing into being something that they care about. Now, that might not be true for you. For you, actually, there's a certain lifestyle you want, and that's predicated upon a minimum amount of income, and you like the guy to have more of that income, right? That may also be true. But I think what I'm saying applies to a lot of you who are listening here right now. What may be more true than a woman is going to leave a man who has lower income than her is that a woman is more likely to leave a man who is not showing up financially, right? So showing up financially is likely more important than the specific income a guy makes. So this means some amount of financial attention and financial responsibility, right? It might be that you make more money than a guy, but he actually knows more than you do about how to save money or invest money, or he makes good decisions about how to spend money, or you appreciate his frugality because you know that you make a lot of money, but you also spend a lot of money. So most women, it seems, appreciate a masculine partner showing up with some kind of attention and or leadership on the financial domain of your lives. That might be more important to you. Said differently, I have been in a lot of coaching conversations with women who have ended up being the financially responsible partner, and they don't like it, and they end up looking at their partner and seeing them as financially irresponsible, right? So we've got some financial problems, but somehow he's playing computer games, right? Or we've got some financial problems, but somehow he's spending all his time surfing, right? That there's a sort of checked out quality in the masculine partner that she is not appreciating, and it's actually depolarizing the relationship, and it is ultimately leading to less trust because she can't trust that he's going to show up in that domain, right? So even a high earning woman who doesn't need a guy in any way financially often appreciates a guy who can show up and pay attention and care in this domain. So if you've had the experience of this polarity I'm talking about, where you're the responsible one and you tend to attract irresponsible guys, that also could be a good point of inquiry for you about what is having you show up so responsibly, because there could be something that relaxes in you so that it's more attractive to you to be with someone who's not irresponsible, right? Said differently, hyper-responsibility sometimes gets met with hyper-responsibility, but sometimes it gets met with a lot of irresponsibility because it's kind of the soul attraction, because part of you wants the thing that Surfer Dude quote, and I use that in a very generalized proxy kind of way. He has access to something around adventure, freedom, spontaneity, being in the moment, living life that is attractive to you, but it's not attractive to you if you can't pay your bills, right? So this is where, we learn to integrate polarities. There's a, polarity, let's say, of responsibility and freedom. And it might be that there's a truer way for that to integrate in you than is currently showing up. Anyways, that's a slight bit of an aside to this. The essence of this is, should you date a guy that makes less money than you? For many of you, I think the authentic answer to that is yes, so long as the guy is doing something purposeful in the world, he's showing up with a minimum effective dose of responsibility, and he's willing to bring a minimum amount of care and attention to his and or your joint, if you are in a joint life, financial life, right? For most women, that's actually going to be plenty enough, right? Now, if it's such a discrepancy, right? If you are earning like 2x, 5x, 10x what a guy makes, yeah, maybe it's going to limit your ability to co-contribute to the things that you want to do, because you're in a financial reality where, for you can fly around the world, go do a bunch of travel, and that's completely within your means, and he never can. So what it basically means is, for you to do the things you want to do, you're becoming his financial sponsor. And I'm going to imagine that after a time, that may get old for you, and you may not like that way of relating, right? So there may be, levels of this where it becomes more true for you that this doesn't work. But if it's like, I'm earning 20% more than him. And by the way, when you take these things out over a longer period of time, sometimes these things even up, right? Even if you just look at who's in the top wealth bracket, who's in the top income brackets, there's a lot more movement in a 10-year period or a 20-year period in that than I think most people imagine, right? So it's not just like there's a 10% of people who are the 10% richest, highest income, wealthiest people, and they're always there. There's a lot of movement in and out of those brackets, which we could say as a society is a good thing, but I'm putting that out there because this might not be quite as static a dynamic as it is only in this moment. What I would encourage you to do is to have authentic conversation about what this brings up for you, right? So if something is coming up for you, like, I like this guy, but there's this thing around, the way that he approaches his career, or how much attention he puts on, spending judiciously, or something that is up for you, I would encourage you to bring it up and have an authentic conversation about it and see if there's a deeper truth or that can be aligned there, or just that he gets to know what is true and important for you. Because in some ways, it's a conversation about values, right? Some of you could care less about what a guy makes. If he's in his heart and he cares for you and he loves you, that is going to be more than enough. For some of you, the material earth basis of reality is really important, right? For you, that's part of your security. It might be also part of your freedom, for instance, when I was talking about travel. And so it is authentic for you to bring that into a conversation. And if you can do it not from a place of judgment, but from a place of discernment and owning, hey, this is important to me and here's why, and here are some questions, doubts, concerns I have, that could be a really empowering and true way for you to approach that situation. So that's what I think. What do you think? Hit me up in the comments. I'm curious to know your experience. And if you want more help from me, check out that first link. It will be the guide checklist. And the second link is the possibility of you doing deeper work with me in a 6-month container in my transformation program. Be sure to check that out if you want a more true and real version of you to be coming forward now and onwards. So I'm Jack, as always. Thanks for being here.